In April 2025, the chief executive officer of Duolingo sent an email to every single employee. It said, from now on, AI would replace any contractor whose job could be automated. The internet erupted. Users started deleting the app. And within a week, the chief executive officer was on a public apology tour, telling podcasts and journalists that no, actually AI was not replacing anyone. He did not expect the backlash. But here's what is strange. He was not wrong. Not entirely. Because right now, in 2026, AI is writing nearly half of all code on the planet. And the programmers at the center of this revolution are not sure whether to cheer or to run. This video is not about whether AI is smart. It is about what happens when you actually try to replace human programmers with it. In the real world, at real companies, with real money on the line, the numbers are genuinely wild. The early results at some of the biggest companies in tech are not what anyone predicted. And the security data coming out of universities and enterprise audits right now should make every person who uses software on a daily basis stop and think. We're going to follow this story from 3 angles: what AI coding can actually do, what goes quietly wrong when no one is looking, and what this means if you are a developer or thinking about becoming one. Because the answer turns out to be both simpler and far more complicated than anyone is saying. Let us start with the scale, because without it, nothing else makes sense. In early 2026, the share of code written with AI assistance crossed 50% for the first time. 50%. GitHub Copilot alone reached 4.7 million paid subscribers by January 2026, a 75% jump in a single year. The vibe coding market, which barely existed when Andrej Karpathy coined the term in February 2025, is now worth $4.7 billion and projected to hit $12.3 billion by 2027. 92% of U.S. developers use AI coding tools daily. 87% of Fortune 500 companies have adopted at least one vibe coding platform. 21% of Y Combinator's Winter 2025 startups had code bases that were 91% AI generated. Read that again. 91% of their entire code base was written by a machine. So the question is not whether AI is writing code. The answer to that is absolutely yes, faster than anyone predicted. The real question is that code any good? And this is where it gets interesting. Because the companies that rush to replace their developers are learning some very uncomfortable lessons. Let's talk about the companies that went furthest, fastest. Klarna became the most quoted example of AI replacing workers. Chief Executive Officer Sebastian Siemiatkowski announced their chatbot was doing the work of 700 full-time agents. He froze hiring. The workforce shrank toward a stated goal of 2,000 employees. The tech world watched. Then, in 2025, Klarna quietly started hiring again. Siemiatkowski admitted publicly that the quality had not held up. His exact words were, "Cost unfortunately seems to have been a too predominant evaluation factor. What you end up having is lower quality." They had traded human judgment for efficiency. The customers noticed. Duolingo followed the same arc. Chief Executive Officer Luis von Ahn went AI first in April 2025. The backlash was so severe, he was issuing corrections within weeks. By April 2026, he quietly dropped the AI performance review requirement entirely. Shopify sent a similar memo, then went silent about the results. 3 of the most public AI first experiments in tech. All 3 walked back their boldest claims within months. That's not a coincidence. Now, to be fair, AI is genuinely making developers faster. Studies across Fortune 50 enterprises found that developers assisted by AI produce commits at 3 to 4 times the rate of their peers. That's enormous. But here's the number nobody is putting in the press release. Those same developers introduce security vulnerabilities at 10 times the rate. 10 times. And that gap between speed and safety is where this story gets genuinely alarming. Georgia Tech has a research project called the Vibe Security Radar. Launched in May 2025, its job is simple: trace security flaws in public code back to their origin and flag any introduced by an AI tool. In the second half of 2025, they found 18 such cases across 7 months. In the first 3 months of 2026 alone, 56. March 2026 by itself had 35 AI-generated CVE entries, more in a single month than in all of 2025 combined. Lead researcher Zhao put it bluntly: when an agent builds something without authentication, that's not a typo. It's a design flaw baked in from the start. The independent testing data is just as stark. Veracode tested over 100 large language models on security-sensitive coding tasks. 45% of all AI-generated samples introduced OWASP top 10 vulnerabilities, the industry's list of the most commonly exploited weaknesses. For cross-site scripting, 86% failed. For insecure cryptographic algorithms, 88% failed. And these results have not improved across multiple testing cycles from 2025 into 2026, despite vendor claims to the contrary. AI-generated code has 2.7 times the vulnerability density of human-written code. 58% of developers trust AI output without running any security tests at all. By June 2025, AI was adding over 10,000 new security findings per month across studied repositories, a 10-fold jump from 6 months earlier. And a 2026 study of 31,132 AI agent tools found that 26.1% contained at least one security vulnerability, including prompt injection, data theft, and privilege escalation. 1 in 4 AI-built tools compromised from the moment it was created. The headline, "AI is destroying developer jobs," is both true and false, depending on where you sit. The Bureau of Labor Statistics still projects 17% growth in software developer jobs through 2033, adding roughly 327,900 new positions. Software development is not a dying field, but that number hides something important. Entry-level hiring has collapsed. Ravio's 2025 Tech Job Market Report found entry-level positions dropped 73% in the past year. Stanford's 2026 AI Index found employment among developers aged 22 to 25 fell nearly 20%. Between 2022 and 2025, exactly when AI coding tools went mainstream. Technology internship postings are down 30% since 2023. The economic logic is brutal. AI can handle the isolated, well-specified tasks junior developers used to learn on. Why invest 6 months training someone when the tool does it in seconds? The traditional ladder into the profession is broken. The junior developer role used to be how you became a senior developer. That entry point is closing. Boris Cherny, creator of Claude Code, said in February 2026 that we are going to start to see the title of software engineer go away. It is just going to be builder or product manager. Gartner predicts 80% of engineers will need reskilling for AI collaboration by 2027. But here is what the panic misses. This is not the first time automation rewrote programming. Integrated development environments, cloud platforms, Stack Overflow. Every wave that was supposed to end it instead expanded it. The question is whether this one is different. And the evidence suggests it depends entirely on what kind of programmer you are. Here is the truth emerging from the data in 2026. AI is not replacing programmers. It is replacing certain tasks and creating a brutal divide between developers who understand the whole system and those who only knew how to execute pieces of it. The ones thriving right now can look at 500 lines of AI-generated code and spot the architectural mistake on line 47. They understand why the permissions are wrong. They know what the AI did not think to ask. The ones struggling are the ones who used to be paid to write those 500 lines without needing to know why. What makes this genuinely unsettling is the pipeline problem. You don't get developers who can spot that mistake without first spending years making it themselves. The junior positions, the ones that taught the lessons, are disappearing. The senior positions that require knowing those lessons are not disappearing. At some point, those senior developers retire, and the next generation, the ones supposed to replace them, never had the chance to make the mistakes that made them sharp. That is not a today problem. That is a 10-year problem nobody is talking about. So can AI replace programmers? In 2026, it already has for some tasks, and it almost certainly will not for others. The companies that charged in fastest spent the last year quietly reversing course. The security data from Georgia Tech and Veracode is not the story the industry wants to tell, and the junior developer market looks nothing like it did 3 years ago. What is coming is not the end of programming. It's a restructuring of who gets to do it and how you get there. The programmers who understand that are already building the skills to review, guide, and correct what the machines produce. The ones who are not are betting. The machines will stay bad at the things they are good at. History suggests that is not a safe bet.